everyone! Okay, I'm sure you've probably got lots of questions. What's up with my makeup? Well, the short story is I just got really bored and kind of wanted to be creative. Don't know if it worked out, but hey, this is how I'm filming today. Hi everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Arden. You're watching YA Book Princess. I am a bookstagrammer, a booktuber, reviewer, writer, so many other things. Throughout this entire month, I have promised you a video on Revenge of the Sluts, and we're gonna discuss it today. First of all, a thank you and a disclaimer. Thank you to Wattpad Books for sending me this free copy in exchange for an honest review. On the day you're watching this book is already out, so you can buy it right now if you want to, if you think this is something that will interest you. Now, before I get into the review, I'm going to be reading you what this book is about in the words of the publisher, and then we'll go to the actual review. Revenge of the Sluts by Natalie Walton. Double standards are about to get singled out. In this stunning debut, author Natalie Walton tackles privacy and relationships in the digital age. As the lead reporter for the Weekly Warrior, Eden has covered her fair share of stories at St. Joseph's High School. And when intimate pictures of 7 female students are anonymously emailed to the entire school, Eden is determined to get to the bottom of it. In tracking down leads, Eden is shocked to discover not everyone agrees the students are victims. Some people feel the girls brought it on themselves. Even worse, the school's administration seems more concerned about protecting its reputation than its students. With the anonymous sender threatening more emails, Eden finds an unlikely ally, the 7 young women themselves. Banding together to find the perpetrator, the tables are about to be turned. The Slut Squad is fighting back. Now, like I said, this book talks about Eden, who is a reporter for the school newspaper. And suddenly she, along with everybody else at school, gets an anonymous email sent by a person signed Eros, containing the pictures of 7 girls basically being nude. So the nudes were sent out, and the way the school reacted, we're gonna get there. These events lead to an onslaught of slut-shaming, to harassment, to these women's reputations being torn apart. Their futures could potentially be harmed because, like I said, they are still in high school, they're not in college. If this got back to colleges, they could, you know, potentially lose their scholarships or everything they've been working so hard towards. St. Joseph's High School is actually quite religious and prestigious, so the fact that these women got their news exposed was so heartbreaking because of the way people treated them after. And the worst part is, because they're 18, the police cannot step in and do anything because it isn't against the law to share someone else's nudes without their consent. The only people who can help the girls in this situation is the school. But the problem is the school doesn't want to get involved, even though the email was sent through their servers and they could easily just figure out who it was. And they probably also have cameras, so you know, it would be so easy. But the school is so intent on keeping up their reputation, on silencing its students and trying not to get this story out. They don't want to bring any more attention to this situation. They only make blank statements. They say they're investigating the situation when in truth they're just saying what the students want to hear. And they are actively silencing other students who do want to investigate, such as the newspaper and all the reporters who are working on this story. Now, at first I was really uncomfortable with the school newspaper doing this, trying to figure out the information, because I don't trust the media. I think nobody trusts the media. I think the media just wants to get the next big story, and at first that's how I felt this situation was handled. I didn't really like that the reporters were getting involved and that they are on this self-righteous path towards justice, when in all honesty they just wanted to kind of get the next big story. But the more I got to know the characters and the more we get into the story, it just seems like the characters really just wanted to help the girls in any way that they can. Honestly, this book is so infuriating, and that's because it's so realistic. It reminded me of a lot of situations that I've either been in or I've seen. I feel like it also represents what it's like to be a woman in today's society of boys will be boys, and it shows how the way we raise men will affect us all. And I get that you might be religious and that is something that goes against your own morals, but the thing is, the way you live your life shouldn't affect the way others live their lives. If somebody wants to send nudes to someone they either trust and they know is just that picture is just meant for them and won't be sent around. That's none of your business. This book is so infuriating because all of these men in the book, I mean men, not men, boys, all of these boys in the book, they just have blatant disrespect towards all of the girls in this book. When they receive pictures sent in confidence, they send them around just so they can brag about it. And the thing is, this happens in real life. This happens all the time. This isn't just a work of fiction that we can brush off, I guess. And that's what's so infuriating to me. My camera died, so I am filming on my phone. Hi, again. Anyway, as I was saying, it's so infuriating to me that consent means nothing. In this book, consent is just a word that gets thrown around, with women being probably the only ones that are being affected by this. Now let's go back to the school. The school offers counseling sessions, but only during active school hours, which means that if the girls want counseling, they can either skip out on class and, you know, potentially harm their education in order to get that counseling session that is owed to them, or they cannot get it. They can search somewhere else. I mean, the school doesn't really care. And they do say that they're investigating the situation, but in truth, they just want to keep everything quiet so that this story doesn't get out to local media and doesn't get picked up. Because if it does get picked up, if this scandal becomes public, they will lose investors, they will lose their donors. So again, it all comes down to what's more important, money or justice for victims. And funny enough, I read this book on the day when there was this course on Twitter about the silhouette challenge. Now, I don't know really what the silhouette challenge is, but I know that there is a filter involved where women could like pose nude for the picture and the filter will cover them up. But men, again, have discovered a way how to get rid of the filter so that they can see their nudes without their privacy. And there were a lot of men just bragging about this on Twitter. Like, it's no big deal. And someone said, you know, just screenshot as many as you can. This is disgusting. I know, this book fired me up. I'm trying to be as vague as possible because a lot of this is just mentioned in the summary. Now, the only problem I kind of have is that the title is a little bit misleading. It says Revenge of the Sluts, but there wasn't actually any revenge. It was just the seeking of justice. And also, the pacing was a little bit slow, but then again, for me, I personally read A Discovery of Witches before I picked up this book, so I wasn't really bothered by it because A Discovery of Witches isn't really known for being the most constantly something happening kind of book, you know, fast-paced, not really. I didn't really have any problems with this book. Apart from being a contemporary book, this book is also categorized as being a mystery, which it definitely is. If I would describe this book in any way, I would just say it's mystery because it brings you along on this journey of figuring out who did this, who affected all of these 7 girls. Honestly, we also get to see their relationship as they struggle to move on from the scandal and how it affects them all. And yeah, one problem I do have is that there was a little bit lacking when it comes to the big plot twist. The giant lead up to it, that was so quickly resolved. I would have loved to know more, like in the way that people would have some real consequences, and I would love to see whoever did this suffer. Unfortunately, this is just a very realistic ending. Some people's punishment sometimes just doesn't fit the crime, and that is really unfortunate. I think when it comes to the quality of writing, out of all the books that I read by Wattpad books, this is the best one written yet. It is very clever. It just has a lot, and it has diversity. It has characters that aren't really shallow. It isn't romance heavy, which makes it so appropriate given the content of the book. With every single chapter, I think this book just keeps you at the edge of your seat. You need to know what happens next, and there is always something happening, but not in a way that is like cliche or tedious. If anything, this book is the opposite of cliche. I did foresee what was gonna happen, but only because I don't trust anyone. Revenge of the Sluts was definitely one of my favorite books I've read this month, if not the favorite book of the month. It is the only book outside of the reread of A Discovery of Witches that I have rated 5 stars this month, and that is a big deal for me because I am much more stricter when it comes to 5-star ratings, and this book definitely deserves it because it made me think about a lot of things. Probably one of my favorite books I have read by Wattpad books, which I feel like I say all the time, but this one is really special to me. And it's so special that I stopped, you know, marking it halfway through because I just wanted to figure out who the killer, not the killer. Why do I always think this is a murder mystery? It's not. I wanted to figure out who the sender was. Yeah, I would definitely recommend you to pick it up if you want to. These are my honest opinions, and mostly it's not really opinions, it's just me ranting. But I think for what this book was trying to achieve, which is starting a conversation, then it did just that. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know if you're gonna pick it up, and if you did, let me know what you thought. Obviously, not every book that I'm gonna like is gonna be your cup of tea, and vice versa. Yeah, I'm always just really scared to recommend books to people. And whenever someone says, oh, I picked this book up because of you, I get a little bit scared. Because, yeah, but I really hope that you will enjoy it if you pick it up. And that is it for today's video. I hope you have a lovely day, and I'll see you next time.